Good evening, it is 5:30. I'd like to call our first regular meeting of the calendar year to order, January 27, 2025. Our first order of business is to the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. One part. So the first order of business is the approval of the agenda. Could I have a motion? Support by Dawn, support by Ken. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Our next order of business is the oath of office for our two new board members, and Robin will administer that.
Sure. This is for Andrew and Joy, and if you could raise your right hand and repeat after me.
Yeah.
I do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
That I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of this state,
and the Constitution of this state,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the office of Member of Board of Education
of the office of Member of Board of Education
of Hudsonville Public Schools,
of Hudsonville Public Schools,
Ottawa and Allegan Counties, Michigan,
Ottawa and Allegan Counties, Michigan,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
I'll have something for you to sign.
Congratulations. Our next order of business is the election of officers for the Board of Education for the 2025 school year. At this time, I'll open the floor for nominations for board president.
As the person on this board with the most leadership experience, especially in the area of long-term strategic planning and consensus building, I'd like to nominate Ken Hall.
We have a nomination from Ken Hall. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Second by Ken. Do we have any other nominations for board president?
Yes, I would like to nominate Greg Chansky.
Greg Chansky, do I have a second for that nomination?
I'll second that.
Second by Nick. Are there any other nominations for board president? At this time, I'd like to call the motion for president to close. Do I have a motion to close the nominations?
Yes.
Support by Don. Do I have a second? Second. Andrew, that's fine. Can I have a vote for any discussion about closing nominations? Can I have a vote to close nominations? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the same sign. We have two nominations, so we will do a roll call vote. Welcome, Joy. This will be your first opportunity to vote first. So you have between Ken Hall and Greg Chansky for president.
Greg Chansky.
Andrew? Greg Chansky. Greg?
Greg Chansky.
Barb?
Greg Chansky.
Greg Chansky.
Dawn.
Ken Hall.
Ken?
Ken Hall.
Sounds good. Greg Chansky as the nomination for board president. At this time, I will turn over the floor to Greg. Any chance I can get the two of you to, at this point, switch spots? I have no idea what's
More
going to happen
than
next, but. That's it for the year for me.
Here we have it. Okay, this time I would like to motion for vice president, and I'd like to open the floor for nominations for board vice president.
I would like to nominate Dr. Hooper for vice president.
And I'd like to nominate
Hold
Ken.
on.
Oh, sorry, yep.
Need a second. Okay, sorry.
Is there anyone who would like to support?
We need a second.
Second,
A second then?
okay. Are there any other nominations for vice president?
Yes, again, as a person most capable of guiding, especially a new president in moving our district forward and giving guidance, I would like to nominate Ken Hall.
Is there any, would anyone like to second that?
I'll second that.
Is there anyone else who would like to nominate anyone for the position of vice president? Okay, so we have a motion to, for Barb as vice president. Okay, we will close nominations. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Hold on, we need a motion to close
So I'll
nominations?
make a motion to close nominations.
Thank you.
Okay, motion to close nominations.
I'll support that.
Thank you.
Okay,
I'll second it.
okay.
Put you down.
So I have a motion to close the nominations. Is there any discussion? Okay, since there were two people that were,
We have to vote on closing nominations.
okay, let's vote on closing nominations.
All in favor
Aye.
to close?
Aye.
Thank you.
All opposed? Okay, okay, motion is carried. And since there were two people that were nominated, we will do a roll call. And this time we'll start with Ken.
Ken Hall?
Yes, Ken Hall. Okay,
Ken Hall.
Don.
Barb Hooper?
Barb Hoover.
Barb Cooper.
Ken Hall.
Barb Hooper.
Okay, so by a vote of 4-3, Dr. Hooper will be the vice president for this term.
Yeah. Barb again, what was it?
Okay, and the next nomination will be for board secretary. Is there anyone who would like to nominate someone for secretary?
I nominate Don Sneeman for board secretary.
I'll second that.
Okay, is there any other nomination for board secretary? This time, can I get a motion to close the nominations for board secretary?
So move.
Support.
Okay. Okay, so Dawn has been nominated for board secretary. All in favor?
We need a vote to close nominations.
Okay, vote to close nominations.
So moved.
Support.
Okay.
So it's been moved in second, it's just a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign.
Okay. All those in favor, for Barb, for board
No.
secretary?
Dawn.
I mean, Dawn for board secretary?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Okay.
You can stay there, Dawn.
Okay, next we will go to board treasurer.
I nominate Andrew DeWitt for board treasurer.
I second that nomination.
You can turn it down if you want.
Is there anyone else who would like to nominate anyone? Okay. Let's see, then do I close? I will close the nominations. Okay, this time I'll close the nominations for treasurer.
Motion.
Good motion.
I will close the nominations.
Okay,
And you got the second?
okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Andrew will be the board secretary, or the
No.
board treasurer.
Treasurer.
Yeah. treasurer. Let's open the nominations for board assistant secretary slash treasurer.
I'll nominate Ken Hall.
I'll second that.
So we have the motion by Nick for Ken, and we have it seconded by Ken for board assistant secretary treasurer. Are there any other nominations? Okay. Can I get a
Motion to close.
motion to close?
Support.
Okay. Okay, all those in favor signify.
Close, need a vote to close nominations.
Okay, vote to close out nominations.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, all those in favor? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay.
For Ken Hall.
Ken Hall for,
For board assistant secretary.
then there's a motion on the floor to accept.
We're done.
Okay. Okay, at this point, we will have recognition of visitors.
Our first speaker is Laura Pickard.
Just a point of order, there's no board recognition. Next on the agenda is board recognition.
I don't have that.
On the memo on the agenda, it's probably on your board appreciation. I must have forgotten.
Oh, send it. Before you start, you can stay there if you want. So just as a point of order, January, I know it's January 27th, and it's the last full week of January, but January is Board Appreciation Month. We have discussed this with our administrators, and hopefully they'll get a chance to reach out. We're gonna probably let this bleed into February a little bit to show some appreciation for all the time and effort that you do put in. I know there's a lot of documents that you have the privilege of reading, especially policies, which I know you love. But it's a commitment to be here, to care for our kids and our staff, and so just out of appreciation from the district, thanks to the board. We are gonna talk a little bit more about staff appreciation and recognition a little bit later in the agenda. But wanna reach out and thank the board for, I don't mean to be rude, it's been 12 minutes, Joy, but we appreciate all the work the board is doing, so thank you. Now you're up.
Thank you. My name is Laura, and obviously there's a lot of new changes in the new year, so just wanted to give some thoughts. Hello and good evening. I'm here tonight as a parent raising very young children. I did not grow up in Hudsonville, nor did I attend Hudsonville schools. When we moved here in 2020, we quickly came to realize that there are a lot of stereotypes about the city of Hudsonville. Time and time again, on a variety of issues, you'll hear someone say, well, it is Hudsonville. My opinion of Hudsonville is much different than it was 4 years ago. I see so much love and community here. We have multiracial families. We have farms that are worked by migrant hands. We have stores and shops that employ people with disabilities. We have a Christian church for anyone, depending on what they're looking for. And like in every corner of America, we have children from broken homes, gay and transgender youth, and hungry mouths that need assistance getting fed. I've been to one board meeting before, and I really enjoyed learning about the summer programs HPS offers and the initiatives they take for students that don't speak English. I didn't know anything like that existed around here, and it really made me proud. I'm extremely impressed and grateful for the section of HPS's website when it comes to diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging. It's written in a clear and intentional way that says, we support our students and we will continue to support our students. It's not new information that we have a mental health epidemic when it comes to young people. Right now, students of Hudsonville Public Schools are protected and embraced for who they are as individuals because it's the right thing to do. And there's no benefit to taking away those protections or that trust. Going back to the policy on the website, there's a line that says, and I'm summarizing, We don't promote diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging because we're told to or because a curriculum demands it. We do it because it's the right thing to do. If you take away the controversial fuzziness of the acronym DEI, how could anyone argue that those things are bad? Belonging, inclusion, equity, diversity. Right now, Hudsonville has it. Please don't take it away. And one more thing that I learned on your website is only by working together will we be able to ensure a safe, supportive, and inclusive environment for our children. Thank you for your time.
Our next speaker is Rachel Payne.
Oh, she's not able to be here.
Okay. Jill Bosniak.
Good evening. I want to start by saying the name tags have not been switched for Dr. Hooper and Mr. Bowles. In the first few days in office, the Trump administration issued executive orders targeting diversity, equity, and inclusion. This is undoing decades of federal anti-discrimination policy and forcing companies to abandon efforts that promote equity and remedy systematic discrimination. According to the ACLU website, these policies grew out of federal anti-discrimination laws passed during the 1960s civil rights struggle and have been expanded over the years to ensure one's race, gender, sexual orientation, gender identity, disability, and other characteristics were legally protected. These programs are essential in creating environments where everyone has a chance to succeed. Hudsonville Public Schools is no exception. The U.S. Department of Education has taken action to eliminate DEI initiatives, and I ask the board to ensure you continue to identify and address barriers to equitable learning environments. Our students, no matter who they are, deserve to ensure their educational opportunities are provided on an equal basis. Mrs. Helms, I know you're new to the board. In your Meet the Candidate bio while running for your position, you stated that you were running to, quote, represent the voices of parents and community members who do not support diversity, equity, and inclusion. You see it as bringing increased division and believe the district should address issues individually rather than a one-size-fits-all approach. I agree that there is generally not a one-size-fits-all approach. However, having a DEI program to create a welcoming and inclusive environment where all students feel valued and have an equal opportunity to succeed is imperative in our community. Eliminating any of these programs would open the door for students to bully, harass, or intimidate other students. Growing up is hard enough for our students, but giving them opportunity to mistreat others is unacceptable. Hudsonville Public Schools has many great resources on the Civil Rights Compliance webpage that need to remain in effect. The district needs to continue to work in fostering an environment where all students can have access and thrive in their educational journey. I ask that you resist intimidation and reaffirm your commitment to identifying and removing barriers to equal opportunity. Resist the fear and confusion these executive orders were designed to create. Think of our students and ensure you give every student the opportunity to thrive regardless of their background. I ask that you do not remove any of the DEI initiatives within the district. Do not send Hudsonville back to the pre-1965 Civil Rights Act era. Thank you for your time and consideration.
That's all for this meeting.
Okay, we will now go to the consent agenda. Could I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Support.
Okay. Any discussion? Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the motion passes. Or am I ready? Next we have staff appreciation resolution that Dr. Vanderjack just talked about a few minutes ago.
So yeah, I'd like to recommend to the board to pass a resolution. Traditionally in January, we do a couple other housekeeping items. I'll talk about a different housekeeping item a little bit later. But the resolution to pass the first full week of May as staff appreciation, we want to appreciate our staff 52 weeks a year, but formally do it at appreciation. That will include some opportunities for the board, central office, to spend some time in the buildings on a specific day intentionally to go around and just appreciate our entire staff, teaching staff, support staff, for all the work that they do year-round. In May, it's a little bit warmer, they can see the light at the end of the tunnel to say, we're gonna make it. So asking the board to approve this resolution you see before you to declare the first full week of May as staff appreciation. And technically, on Tuesday, we'll do a little bit more of a celebration if that day works out. We will do Tuesday or Wednesday, but looking at Tuesday. So that's our recommendation. I'm sorry, Mr. Chansky, but as a resolution, we will ask for a roll call vote, just as we do a normal resolution. And then if approved, let's see, Tom, you're still secretary, so you can sign it.
Okay. Is there any discussion on that?
We need a motion.
I move that the board approve the staff appreciation resolution as reviewed by Dr. Van.
Support.
Any discussion? Okay, Dr. Vanderdyk would like a roll call because it's a resolution.
I'll do it for you, just because then you can vote too. Ken?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, okay, it's supposed to be names, but you got that, Robin, so we're good. Sounds good. Thank you very much.
Now we're going to the board policy revisions.
So we have, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Bill.
So we have a second reading for the board policy. These were reviewed in a work session last year. Sorry, I was waiting to say that. It was also a first reading last December for several policies, just for the sake of joy to go through. Some of the policies were about artificial intelligence. Some are about the CPR requirements that are required for the next school year. Some are regarding our CRIS, which is our the criminal history records information that is kept through the HR office, and some of the changes that had to be done with record keeping. Some of them are all about federal dollars that are going through the finance department, that are some of the changes in regulations for those. And then there's the last one is an updated policy regarding updated costs for facilities that we've been doing, but we want to make sure the policy matches that. So after the first reading, we had a board member ask about the difference between guardians and parents. That is identified in the zeros in the actual board level that identifies a parent guardian can mean the same throughout the entire, all the policies. So I think we're okay with that. I'm not gonna say who the board member was, but
That was me, so thank you.
I think I think Andrew asked a similar question, so let's go, yeah. So we're covered by that. So besides that, there were no recommendations for altercations to any of those policies, so that is our recommendation as a second and final reading for those policies. We'll talk more about policies later tonight.
So could I get a motion to approve the board policy revision second reading?
Board.
Todd and Ken, is there any discussion?
No, I think, I know the answer to this, but I'll ask the question anyway. Any revisions, any potential revisions tied to legislation the governor has passed in the last,
The title,
for the 9 bills?
the Title IX stuff, we'll talk about
Any
later, but at this point, the answer is no, but that could change tomorrow. We'll talk about a policy that will be recommended at next meeting as a first reading, that we're gonna review tonight in the work session. Hopefully recommend in a first reading, but it might not get to the first reading.
But these are all good.
These are all good. These were, these were not, political. How's that a way to say it? Does that make sense? I mean, some of the
No, I
federal
understand,
stuff, but it wasn't.
just again, it's some of the language around, especially grant funds, and
Yeah.
there were some things percolating through
Yeah.
the legislature. on
The
some
funding
of those
stuff,
items. Yeah.
those are all, at this point, as far as we know, they're good to go.
Okay, thank you.
Any other discussion? Okay, could we get a motion to approve?
So moved.
We already have a motion. Second.
Okay, just have to vote. Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, the motion carries. The next one is the, new course proposals, second reading.
Mrs. Taylor.
Yes, so I'm really excited. This is always fun to think about the opportunities that our teachers are going to continue to provide for our students. And this time of year is always when we think about, begin our work to prepare for next school year. So I'm excited to bring to you this evening for second reading and recommendation for final approval of 5 courses that we reviewed over the course of a work session and then a board meeting. Just for brief review, British and American Lit at the high school, Fashion Design and Merchandising at the high school, STEM course, which would be considered a math elective at the high school, iPad Art for 6th grade students at both the 5-6 building and Riley at this time, and then finally a STEAM course expanding our STEAM offerings with our 8th grade students, entering into a new area within STEAM of medical detectives.
Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Dawn? And Nick? Any discussion?
I make one comment, one time about, I'll eat those, it's gonna be a great course.
It's gonna be a great
course.
Nice work on these.
Thank you.
Yeah, he's up there too.
Okay,
Never gonna live it down.
okay, with no discussion. Any, all, in favor of approval?
Aye.
Any, no? Okay, motion passes.
Next up, report, just a quick report. We've had enough snow days for the year, so we're done. That's all I got. Don't tell your kids, sorry, you could go to school the rest of the year. So we'll continue to monitor the running, safety is the number one priority. We have some, it's hard to explain. People have asked about, is there opportunities to go through the state and ask for additional days? The challenge is, back in 2019, remember when the polar vortex came through, it was a statewide issue that the governor issued a state of emergency. That did not happen. It was really just Ottawa County. Some in Kent County, some in Muskegon, some north, but, so we'll continue to monitor it and work with the proper channels as we see fit. We still have a long ways to go in the winter. We still have a long ways to go in the school year. We'll figure it out. So keep the kids safe, that's the priority, and staff. So that's my only report. We'll have plenty more to talk about in a minute. And just for those in attendance, in about, well, whenever you're done, we're gonna take about a 5-minute break, reconfigure the room. You're welcome to stay right where you are. The board's gonna leave to get a quick picture taken while we reconfigure the room, and then we're gonna go right back into our work session, which will have a very similar format with, except for voting, there'll be public comment and so forth, go from there. That's it.
Thank you, Dr. Vanderjagt. Let's go around the table. Ken, do you have any?
No, I'll defer mine till after the work session.
Okay.
Yes, I'll wait.
John?
Good.
I will wait
Also.
also. Okay, can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Everybody vote.
Okay,
Support.
Who are you gonna give it to?
Nick and then Dawn.
I'm actually the one person that did not.
You might be good on the agenda, you're on the minutes.
Andrew and I can't sit next to each other unless they.
We'll separate you next time.
okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Meeting adjourned.